And this is precisely why you do not dig straight down. Somebody passed me a fire resistance potion. Hello and welcome to Lost in Minecraft, and today we are jumping straight in on building ourselves a skeleton spawner farm. As you can see, we have a spawner in the middle, and we've set up exactly like we did for the spider farm. So it is a 9 by 9 floor area, 7 tall, with the spawner slap bang in the middle. Put a 3-block section down and one corner of the room, as you see on the screen. You put that in the opposite corner to where you want your kill chamber drop to be, and put water along the edges of the room and on top of the corner section, as you will see here. So coming up to the corner section, it's a little bit tricky once you've got a bit of water in place, because obviously the flow pushes you in the other direction. I set up a little wall in the middle of the room just to keep it under control, but as you can see now we have a block all by itself in the corner there. You can dig down 10 blocks. Unfortunately, digging down is dangerous, so this is why you do not do it, and why you should always carry fire resistance potions. As you can see, I've still got the fire resistance potion effect going there, so we've dug down, come back out of it, used some ladders and then broken my way up, and we are digging our way to where that drop came down. Now I've discovered a rather large chamber area. This shouldn't affect what we need to do. Oh, we've got some underground friends coming up, so let's deal with them. Oh, it's lit it up nicely with the lava flow. There seems to be quite a lot of lava around this area, so when digging out, be careful. So now we're just digging down and across. Use your coordinates to find exactly where your drop would come down. So we're obviously very close. There's some water that I put down to help deal with the lava flows and such like. Yep, still some lava around. Gotta dig it all out. Guess there's a good chunk of obsidian, just be careful. There's still a lot of lava around this place. But ultimately, no matter where you're putting this spawner farm, you need to dig out a chamber underneath where your drop is. So as you can see, we've put a hopper directly beneath where the skeletons will drop down. You can see in the ceiling there, and put a slab on top. Now we just need to build round our kill chamber. For this one we're going to use what is referred to as a trident killer. So when sorting out the creeper farm, battling some underwater zombies there, some drowned, we found a trident, and it's very useful for this very purpose. So as you can see, we're just building out a large area with our hopper in the middle. That is directly beneath the drop. I'll just put a little blue block, I think it's a block of lapis, just as a marker, and taken the slab off. So now we're going to put 4 pistons around this sort of 4x4 area in the middle, with the lapis and the hopper being opposite corners of it, and then we shall be powering this with observers and redstone torches. This is the sort of setup that you want to have overall. Apologise if you hear some noise outside, my neighbour is doing some gardening. So redstone torches on the side of the pistons like so. Again, sort of going round in the circle. It's going to go as you're looking at the front on the right hand side, and then on the other side we will have our observers. A little bit tricky, make sure the arrow is pointing towards the piston, and you fill this round for the rest of the pistons, so you end up with a 2x2 little block in the middle with these around. I just have to dig out again. You really have to be careful around here at the minute. There is a lot of lava. Just make sure you've got blocks nicely on hand you can just block it up with. Hopefully if you find a skeleton spawner in another area, you won't have quite these problems. This also works perfectly well with zombie spawners, by the way. But I prefer skeleton spawners for the drops and rewards that you get. So as you can see, they start to go around in a bit of a sequence. And now that it is set up, we can put a lever on the front one, and when you trigger it, you can see it goes round in sequence. The trick here is once you've got the trident in place, it'll be bounced around from piston to piston and cause damage to the skeletons that drop down. And because you're not using it yourself, it should not itself lose durability. Now it's going to block off and secure the area. Going to make sure that none of the skeletons can get out, or zombies if you're doing it for a zombie farm. And then once we're all done, we'll stick a couple of glass blocks in the front just so we can see what's going on. Just going to put our trident into place. There we go. Got to make sure you do that before you block it all off. So there you go. There's our glass going down, so it's a bit of a viewing chamber, and you can see the trident being pushed around there. Now we've got a set of hoppers we can now run to a collections chest there. So anything that drops on the skeletons will now go into that chest. Now the real trick, we're going to do an item sorter, a little bit more in-depth and technical than what we did with the copper golems. But for now, that will suffice. Everything will drop in there. Skeletons drop armour and weapons, which will take up slots in your chest very quickly. So now that's all in place, we'll come back up, make a little path around the edge, slap a slab on top, and remove the rest of the torches. Get rid of this little walkway, and hopefully once we get rid of the last torch, we should get skeletons starting to spawn. I'm just going to make sure it's all blocked up nicely. There you go. It was flaring. Oh, there we go. Skeletons dropping already. Fantastic. So we come back downstairs, and there was one in there, and as you can see, it just bounces them around and kills them off quite quickly. They lose about half their health from the drop. And because it's being killed by a weapon, it classes as a player character kill. Oh, got a lot of them there. So they drop experience as well. So as you can see, all of our gear has suffered some sort of durability damage. You can charge it all back up to full. So now we're going to hop into creative mode, and I will show you exactly how to make this item sorter. That is our primary goal here. So we need to sort out a way of sorting and storing them, and also getting rid of the bows and armour, which are not really what we want. Having a few spare bows is useful, great for making dispensers, but outside of that we have very little use for them. So we're going to hop into creative, and I will show you how to build an item sorter. Once that is in place, we'll put some repeaters with the arrows pointing towards the comparators. And then we will need to place down some blocks. That's incorrect. We need to leave a space between the repeaters and the blocks, because on the backs of these blocks here, on the same side as the repeaters, we need to put some redstone torches to power it all. On top of the redstone torches, we need to put on some glass blocks. As we found out in the redstone episode, glass is really good for transporting redstone signals, so we'll be putting that to use. Solid blocks take you up to the comparators, and then redstone that whole section. And that is the first part of the sorter all done. You see, we can have a little look around it, make sure everything's all set up. As I said, again, the nozzles pointing into the comparators are very important. That's what allows us to do our sorting. Right, so we're going to put a solid block on the end here and put a double chest on the top. That is going to be our unsorted items area. So we're going to run a series of hoppers going into it. As you can see, all the nozzles are pointing in. One more hopper on the outside, and then we're going to put another chest on the top of that. That is going to be our item input. That is where we're going to put our items that will need sorting. So now that is all set up, that is our basic setup. Now we need to organise the actual sorting process. So to do that, we will need to tell the system what item goes where. Luckily that is a lot simpler than what it initially sounds. I'm just going to put some blocks up on the top first. This is just decorative, you don't need to do it, but we can put item frames on here and put examples of what we're going to be sorting. Makes the finding a lot easier at the end. So right, what we need to do is, for this we're going to use dirt. I think pretty much any sort of block will do, but dirt's always a good one I've found. And an anvil. I'm just going to get some bits for sorting, making it appropriate for what we're going to be sorting in our farm. So bones and arrows. So if you put down your anvil, and you take your stack of dirt, put it in, and then change its name. You can change its name to anything except for the name of an item you're going to be sorting to. So this we're just going to call none. So there we go, we have a block of none dirt. You need to go to the hoppers, just sort it out. We need 41 of each item. That's a very important bit. If you don't have 41, don't worry about it. As the system filters through, it will eventually build up 41 of them. So as you can see there, we've got 41 arrows, 41 bones. So into the hoppers that are pointing into the comparators, you put your 41 of your item, then you fill the other 4 blocks with your renamed block. Item hoppers will hold 45 items like this, which is why we are setting it up. So anything else that comes, it'll see just the first block there. The comparator will check the signal and it'll let it through if it matches. We'll just do one for redstone dust here as well for funsies. There you go, so we've got 41 there. And we'll put these in here. Now as you can see, I've actually put 2 of each of the none blocks in there. That will bump out items for the redstone there, potentially make it not work. It's quite a sensitive system, so there you go, it's happy now. It's always worth just keeping an eye on it. So that is effectively our sorter sorted. So I think we will grab our item frames. So we'll just do the fancy bit. Now I'm not going to show you how I install all this into the farm. I will show you the final result because it's the space we're working in there with all the lava and things. It is a little bit tricky, but you'll see how it all fits together in the end. So I'm just going to slam some items in for sorting. There you go. Just fast forwarding through this a little bit. As you can see, there's some of them there that we are not organising. Now if we check our chests, there's our bones, there's our arrows, there's our redstone dust, and the spares at the end. There we go. All done and sorted. And that is basically, yes, I actually put some of the dirt in there, didn't mean to. Everything else is all good. Now for the other items that you don't want to keep, we need a disposal system. And that is what I have designed over here. As you can see, it's just using a basic observer clock. So the observers will create a signal that will pulse through to a dispenser, with a hopper coming into the top, with a chest for your items, and a little glass case with lava in the bottom. So the signal will make it spit out any items that are in those chests at the top, and it will go into the lava and be destroyed. As you can see, that's how that works. So anything that isn't sorted goes into the fiery pit of lava. One last little bit I want to show you is using crafters to help with our bone and bone meal storage. So we shall head back across here. So we're going to dig out a bit of an extra area beneath where the bones are sorted. So we've got one hopper pointing down. That is going to go into our first chest. That is going to convert the bones into bone meal. The little face of that one's pointing into the face of the second one, and that is going to convert our bone meal into bone blocks. You have a lever on there just to help control it all. The redstone signal is being produced by a pair of observers, same sort of observer clock that we had for the disposal system. So you can see we've got all the bone collected in there. We block off these sections so that when the bone comes in, it'll automatically make bone meal. And then when it goes into the other section, once you've got 9, it spits out a bone block. As you can see, working fantastically. There's all the bone meal going in, and the blocks going out. And that's what we're going to use in our overall collection system. So, back to the overworld. I'm just going to show you the route that I now take to get to this farm. I uncovered the skeleton spawner completely by accident. I was doing some exploring a little bit further down the way, fell down a big hole, ended up in a watery cavern, swimming my way through, found a way out. Luckily I had some water breathing potions on me, found the spawner and ended up basically trying to tunnel my way back to base. Luckily I had a reasonable idea where I was based on the coordinates, so I have a little sort of bunker just around the corner here. It's nice and close to base, so it's not too bad. There's a torch just to let me know I'm near it. There it is, buried in the hillside there. So just a quick trip around the corner. Then we've got to come all the way down. It's very deep as this one, which is why we keep having issues with lava. I may at some point replace this with a full ladder system or scaffolding for funsies. But this section where the ladder is, you'll see it suddenly changes to where all the walls are cobblestone, as you can see here. There we go. This is actually all technically underwater. I had to dig up and put down dirt blocks and dig them up to clear the water out. Dig through here, maybe up to see. Not quite, but as you can see the water is flowing in. I washed away my torch. This bit here just was the sort of natural tunnel area pretty much. which led up into the underwater section. I'll just put a few doors and things in just to keep everything nice and secure. Keep out trouble. And you see, this is where the farm is, just through that wall there. There's bad stuff through there, so we block that off. And down here, as you can see, it's not too bad to get to, but this is our overall final setup of the farm. As you can see, I've got big long streams of hoppers to funnel everything through. The chest on the back wall there, that's just got spare bits from beforehand, we can pretty much ignore that. But the items are all fed down through these hoppers into the sorting system, which is exactly set up as previously seen in the creative section. Sorting our arrows, there's a little bit of space to our bone blocks, which you see is powered by the observers, lever on the side, bone blocks coming through. Bone blocks can be broken down into just bone meal, so they're very useful to have around. And the hoppers continue along the top into our dispenser here. Keep that. Again, powered by the observers, just takes everything out. So that all in all is our skeleton spawner farm and item auto sorter. I really hope you enjoyed this one. It's a lot of work, but I think it's definitely worth it. Being able to have unlimited arrows, particularly with our potions now, is very useful. So if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.